the first day's location was outside the dance studio in Flatbush. And I was late getting out there. I was doing something in the office, and I got a phone call from the production manager, and he said, you know, this is like chaos. I came out, there was like 10,000 kids on the streets, and we had like 4 security guys. So we had to shut down for a couple of hours while we just regrouped, you know, and tried to figure out a way to make it work. But it was the first time that we actually had a sense of who John was.
When Saturday Night Fever came out, it surely had it was a great promotion tool for disco music, and of course it went into places where I'd never gone, especially in Middle America, and I think it really helped to make disco music popular among the young people in that scene, in that area.
The dance solo, the dance at the end of Saturday Night Fever, became a cause célèbre between John Badham and John Travolta, and you know, Travolta had visualized what this was going to be for a long period of time, and whether he had, putting a choreographer to one side, he had an expectation, since the movie had been built around his dancing, that this moment where you see him shine was going to be accurately captured. And Badham, who isn't the most musical of guys, had no intention of covering it, you know, from the feet to the head. So it was shot in close, his face and how he was moving in that way. And when John looked at the dailies, he freaked. And it became really, and there was no way Badham was going to move. And there was no way John was going to move. And we almost shut down for a couple of days just because it was an unresolvable issue. And I've been around movies where that's happened before, and in the end you sort of work your way through it.
There must have been about 15 dancers that were competing against each other and in dance companies during that time. And we went to see Saturday Night Fever. We sat there in the audience, and I have to tell you, we were all like flabbergasted because we thought that the dancing was really poor and it was not well represented. We were like, we don't dance like that. Oh my God, that's so bad. Oh my God, who did that? So I know firsthand from the kids, it was sort of like they saw this and they said, wow, isn't it sad that the dance couldn't be represented better? But then in going to the clubs and seeing what was happening in the clubs at that time, the movie actually brought in like all of these like tourists, it seemed like, to the kids that were hanging out in the clubs. And what ended up happening is that the dance itself, the way that it was done in the clubs, wasn't with the dance that the world thought that it was. They thought it was freestyle. So it really killed the ambiance. It killed, rather than enhancing it, it propelled it for a little bit, but then it sort of killed it right after, because it became this huge money machine for everybody, and it left the clubs and went into the studios. You know, the dance studios across try to, of course, bank on that movie and bank on the fact that masses wanted to learn this so-called dance that John Travolta had done in the movie.
In a way, it was, you know, the ultimate disco spectacular, but it was also kind of one of the things that spread its popularity so far and wide that it was the beginning of the end. Because part of it was, for the kids at least, for the younger generation, it was something that their parents wouldn't do. It was something a little forbidden, and it was underground clubs. That's what brought you in to begin with. Once it became, you know, Uncle Herman from Great Neck was doing the Saturday Night Fever thing, you thought, no, I think I need to find something else.
One of the big debates was the scene at the end ever going to be enough? You know, was it ever going to be enough to see him just get on a train and go to Manhattan? Was that going to be enough to know, or did you need a punctuated scene at the end where you knew everything about what the next 5 steps were for him going to be? But I knew in the moment when I saw him arrive at her apartment that it was going to be okay, that it was going to work, that it was enough. You know, because John was enough, and the journey the movie had taken us on was enough.
Saturday Night Fever made it seem like you could be a kid who works at a hardware store in the daytime, and at night, if you know how to dance and be cool, you could be this superstar in this wonderful world of disco. You could be this huge thing, and then in the daytime walking down the street with a can of paint or doing your job. So that was weird to me, because being a recording artist, being part of that elite club, it started to erode the mystique, and it started to eat away at the credibility of being part of that secret elite society of being a musician.
I think Saturday Night Fever institutionalized disco. I think it made it, part of everybody's life practically everywhere in the world. For some reason, everybody knows John Travolta in the white suit. And, and they remember the movie these many years later in a very different way than it was. They don't remember it as a dark movie. They don't remember it as a drama filled with music and dance. They remember it as a movie filled with dance, and I think that's a testament to why, that it had such a lasting quality, because it clearly hit a spark in everybody. There is that part of everybody that wants to go out on the dance floor and get transformed and be somebody else and just let go.